cleaning, well, cutting off the willows, and so at some point I saw this. It was floating. I tried just to take it out of the. It was entirely hidden, so before you wouldn't be able to see that it was there. But at some point we reached that area. I tried to pull it. It was floating, obviously, but it wouldn't move. So I started to wonder, why doesn't it move? What's happening which restrains it? And so this guy here, which has been cut by now, but so he was standing like this, and that's a willow. And its root system was going through this, through holes that I can't find now, and somewhere anyway. Here, right. So this thing is one of its roots and was going out of the styrofoam thing into the soil. So that's why it wasn't moving. So I had to cut these parts out. And that was kind of the first part of surprise, which was that this thing was a sort of raft floating, but having its own soil makeup that you can see here. And of course it goes back to your question about, you know, what happens when you abandon an area like that for 10 years with this, which obviously was a sort of cover of a boiler or something. And well, there is earth and soil building up, as you can see here, with farn, this tree. Here you have like blackberries. So that for me was already quite a big surprise. And then we started moving it. And when we lifted it out, this piece here is the piece that broke off. And the spiders just started crawling out of it, but like they were, 30, 40 spiders. It was really a lot. It's quite impressive. And of course, as you can see, if you watch from up close, there are galleries in there. And so I wrote to an arachnologist, I guess that's the name, sending pictures of those spiders and asking her. So my initial thought was like, okay, those spiders are living in there and doing stuff in there. And so she identified the spiders very quickly as, and this is not a joke, so in English they are pirate spider wolves. So why wolf? Because they happen to be in packs. But this is an error of science. So they thought that they were living together. Actually, they don't live together as in having a social organization. It's just that they happen to live in areas, but they don't cooperate. So they live in areas together, but whenever they can eat each other, they would do that. So the wolf thing kind of fell out. But anyway, the pirate thing worked very well, I thought, with this raft they were sailing on the Marais Wiels. But what she was absolutely sure about is that they would not make galleries in any, like, that's, she was like, no, this is not, spiders don't do that. There are a few spiders that do galleries in earth, but they would not be able to munch through this and build it out. So I had to find someone else for this. And so she helped me out on this very much, sending me to another specialist who doesn't do spiders, but other insects in general. And one of the things that struck me is that there were those galleries, but none of the, the little bubbles that would have been taken out. They had all disappeared, so I couldn't find them anywhere. And if you look carefully, there are really spaces where it looks like it has been munched through. So it's not taken out, it disappeared somehow, which I have found really strange. And so very quickly we ended up on, what are they called? Flower beetles. Flower beetles, are they anglers? No? Someone who fishes? No? Okay. So they are like big bugs, black bugs, and they make larvae. And these larvae, they eat and digest polystyrene. That has been found out by a scientist in 2015 who had a bunch of them for experiments, put them in a polystyrene cup because she was going out for her weekend. And when she came back, they were all over the place, not in the cup anymore, and the cup had holes. So since 2015, those beetles are used in different tests to see whether they could help us to get rid. It's a flower beetle. Flower beetle. Flower
ver
like
de farine.
ver de farine in French.
Oh, okay.
No, that's not the one. I can
With
show
the
you.
horn, no?
No horn involved. Unfortunately, that would be even better. The worms can get like that when they are adults.
But the actual beetles.
The beetles are, they're a bit smaller. They're like this.
So I think if you say flour as in baking bread, that kind
Yes,
of like,
it's because they tend to appear in bread flour and they eat
exactly
that.
the same as you.
Exactly.
The
And they're pretty common. Like it's not a weird thing. And fishers, so it's one of the things you can buy those type of worms to fish, and so they're really common. And apparently they don't even keep traces of the plastic in their tissue. So you could eat. Some people eat these worms. You could eat them. It's like it really digests the plastic. So it could be a huge helper with the general problem. It only does sort of expanded polystyrene foamy things, but still they are pretty annoying. And yeah, so then I started digging a bit in there, and indeed there are the leftovers that happen when they transform from the worm to the beetle. And so now, the new theory is that. So this has been partly munched away. And I love this piece. It's obviously, as I said, a piece of garbage. It's just trash, but it shows how entangled it is, but also, like, okay, before this scientist found out that they do that, they were already munching through this. And so there might also be solutions to what we're going through in this swamp that we don't know about happening. Yeah, so that's my piece of styrofoam, I guess.
Beautiful.